Hello.
Hello.
Okay. All right. He didn't change it again, did he?
Eh?
He didn't
No,
change it again.
I don't think so, but it's probably going to be a bit late. But it's a fast flat. It's 1.25, really.
Let's see here. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a quickie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So you're going to learn all night?
I doubt it. I used to do it many, many years ago, and I ruined the next day and the day after that. It's like,
Yeah.
you're a vegetable, and you can't learn anything. All you're doing is drinking coffee and eating cheesecake.
Yeah. I don't need that.
Yeah. I know. I find it hard to be. I know. I just can't get interested. It's it have to be some. It would have to be like the greatest speech in the world ever. Although Shlomo was speaking a couple places, Rabbi Einhorn,
Yeah.
so he has some interesting topics, but still, it's like he's speaking in Israel 4 in the morning. There's no way I'm going to be there 4 in the morning.
And then Rabbi Segelman speaking at 3 and at 5.
Twice?
Twice.
Gosh, I don't know.
He
I can't
probably is a
do it.
person, he can't sleep.
Maybe when you're young you can get away with it. It's no way. I'm not going to kill myself.
Listen, the Mincha's at 7:40. We'll be home by 9, right?
Yeah, they wait a very long time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi, Ernie.
Hello.
Hi. We are on 21. Hafala.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are going to learn at the shul tomorrow.
Yes, I already sent the message.
I think 6:15, right?
Yeah,
And then Shabbos 6:15.
right.
Mhm.
Okay. So we said Mikol Mokum Kasha. It's remember that Zairi said that if you break the neck bone with the majority of the flesh, it's already considered dead. So when you do the malika,
Right there.
you're basically doing malika on a dead bird.
Ernie, I have one question. Menika is only done by Kohanim, right?
Correct.
Because sometimes when you talk about it, it seems like it's a common thing. It's not.
No, it was only done in the Beis Hamikdash
Mhm.
on a chata sa'of and an ola sa'of.
Yeah.
Two bird korbanos. Yeah, but bird korbanos were very common. They were much cheaper. The women brought it after they gave birth. They brought birds, so it was actually quite a common korban, probably
Hmm.
more common than the animal korbanos.
Ah.
It was much cheaper, and you could get away with a lot of the korbanos. You could get away with a bird.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did is he broke the neck bone, but not the tissue around it. He said it's a dead bird if most of the tissue and the neck bone is disrupted, then it's dead. But when they did the malika, they just disrupted the bone itself or the spinal cord with the bone, and then he cut the simonim. Then he wasn't doing malika on a dead bird. He saw like Rab Zera. Walter, we're on Chaf Aleph, Amid Aleph, few lines. Walter, what time is Mincha tonight at Shul? 7:30?
7:40, 7:40, 7:47. I think I'll check for you. I'll check.
7:45. You mean the dinner is called for at 8:40?
I'm just telling you that you know how they write stuff on the thing. 7:47. I think
7:47. Okay.
I think so. 7:45.
Yes,
Thank you
please.
for that.
Yeah, yes, it's
Please
7:40.
shut the water. Please. Do you want me to do it, or are you going to do it, Sue? Okay. 1 second. 1 second.
Walter,
Yeah.
you don't check your text, no?
Huh?
You don't check your text.
Yes, I know. I didn't have a chance. I thought I'm late for the Shia, right?
Hmm.
Why? You know that I came on and I left.
Mm-hmm.
Watching,
I
watching,
know everything. Big brother.
watching like a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Ernie Mincha is at 7:47.
Thank you.
7:47. Candlelighting
Right,
is
and we're learning at Young Israel tomorrow
35.
6:15 and on Shabbos at 6:15.
Okie dokie.
Yitzhak Rab Zera, when Rab Zera made Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael, Ashkel Ravami di Yosef v'Karmel Shmaitza. He was saying over this din of Zeiri that if you break the neck with the Rov Basar, it's considered a Nevela. So Rav Zera said, "V'chimesa omed u'moilek." Then how can we do Malik on a bird like that? Eshtoimem kishachada. He was confused for a moment. Amrlei emakach who I said. Rav Zera solved the problem by saying, "Choitach shedro mafrekas below Rov Basar." The Kohen with his fingernail went through the neck bone and the spinal cord without the Rov Basar. And then he cut the Simonim. That is not Malik on a dead bird. How did you do Malik on a Chatas Of? Chotech Shidrum Afrekas below Rov Basar. The Kohen went in with his fingernail, divided the bone with the spinal cord without the majority of the tissue. Then you reach the esophagus or the trachea, and if he reached there, he just has to cut either one of them or 51% of them, and then Rov Basar Imo, and then more you get rid of the other tissue around the neck. Uba Shnaim and Rov Shnaim. By an all, you have to cut both Simonim. Mani. Irabon and Hamishnaim Davka. It's not the Rov Basar, according to Chachamim, they have to cut both of them completely. Ikra as Rab Shimon, Hamarav Shnaim. You only have to cut part of it. So Ema Shnaim Rabbanon, Rav Shnaim Rab Shimon, and a Chanami. You have to cut both of them according to Chachamim. According to Rab Elazar, it's enough part of it. V'boy Sema Hava Rab Elazar Rab Shimon, Umay Shnayim Shadoyim Lishnaim. It looks like they've been completely cut, but the majority, 51% is enough. Amar Shmuel. Nishbar Mafrekas Rav Basar Ima. Now we're talking about a human being who broke his neck and most of the tissue around it. He's like a dead person. Metame ba'oel. Somebody who's in the room with him gets tumah. He's considered dead, even if his limbs are still moving, because it's considered like death. Vim toimar oisa ma'ishta the Eli. Remember, Eli the Kohen Gadol, when he heard about that the Aron HaKodesh was taken prisoner, he leaned back on his chair and he broke his neck. And if you're going to tell me Mafrekas B'lo Basar Havi, there he broke his neck without the tissue. Yet it says he died, even though there was no removal of tissue. So the Gemara answers Zik Nishan. He was old. When he's told that the Aron Elohim was taken captive. When he fell backwards out of his chair. He broke his neck and he died. Because he was old and heavy. So that it was his age. Otherwise, he would not have died. Because unless you have the death, the removal of the rov tissue, then it's not fatal. If you cut a person along his length, like you cut a fish, he also is considered like a dead person. Like a fish, you open him up from the front. But here is you open the person up from behind, from the back. Then he's considered like a dead person. the thigh of an animal was removed, and you could see inside the cavity of the animal, then it's nevela. It's also considered a death. The animal will sort of crouch, and it looks like you can't see its leg. If you can see the inside cavity, when it crouches, it's a sign that the limb has been removed, and it's considered nevela, even if it's still moving. It's not awesome. Hutzu Roshea. If you have the 8 shrotzim, the creeping, crawling things, and the simonim of that animal were cut, and his neck bone and rov basar, afal pishim afarchasin, even though they're still moving around, tmein. Kizonav al toshim afarchas, like you cut a lizard's tail off, and it still moves. It's got neurological function still. My hutsu, what does it mean, hutsu? Reish Lakish Amar hutsu mamish. That the esophagus and the trachea were divided. Ravasi Amar Ravmani, bavdalas kavdalas oilas ha'of. Like when you separate bird ola. We're even 51. Amalei Rav Yirmiyah Rav Lasser. Ravasi, bavdalas oilas ha'of rabbanon, where you need both, 100% of both esophagus and trachea to be divided, velo palgitu, and really they're not arguing. Oidilma, bavdalas oilas ha'of Rav Lazar Rav Shimon, and they are arguing, palgisu, because he only requires 51% of both. Amarlei kavdalas of Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Shimon. They do disagree. According to Rabbi Lazar, the second opinion is according to Rabbi Lazar, where you only have to cut 51%. Ikedi Amri, Rabbi Shimon Lakas Amar Hutsu Mamish. Both esophagus and trachea have been divided. Ravasi Amar Rav Mani kavdalas of Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Shimon, which is only 51% per Rav Shnai. What is this machlokes between the Rabbanon and Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Shimon? My Rabbanon and my Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Shimon. The Tanya. Ves hasheni yasa oile kamishpat. One bird will be a chatas, the other will be an ola. Ki mishpat chatos behema. It'll be like the laws of the chatos behema. And this is in a case where you're bringing the two birds in place of an animal chatas. We're talking about a sliding scale. Avera, like you were tamei and you walked into the base of Mikdash. So there, if you're a wealthy man, you bring an animal. If you're less wealthy, you bring a pair of birds. If you're less wealthy, you bring a mincha. So let's say he's bringing birds. So there's a hekesh between the bird ola and the chatas of an animal. Does it refer to chatas behema? Anyway, ela kamishpat chatas ha'of. Since you're dealing with an olas ha'of, rather than making a hekesh to a chatas that's from an animal, maybe it's comparison to a chatas of a bird. So no, a bird ola is brought. The Torah made a distinction between a bird chatas and a bird ola. So the ola sa'of has to follow the chatas behema. My chatas, and what laws? My chatas behema ain't above ela Chullin. You have to bring. You cannot bring it with money from Meiser Sheni. It's got to come from Chullin. And uvayom, the korban is only in the daytime. Uviyodo yemonis, you have to use your right hand. Af oil sa'oif ain't above ela Chullin. The oil sa'oif comes from Chullin. Uvayom, it has to be brought in the day. Uviyodo yemonis. Now, we know an animal, definitely when the esophagus and the trachea, you need to cut both of them, and it has to be more than 51%. Malal and brov shnayim, avkan brov shnayim, through malika. So you might think that a bird ola needs the majority of esophagus and trachea. Talmud lemer umolak v'hiktir. You shall do malika and burn it. Mak to arosh ba'atzmo v'guf ba'atzmo. A bird ola, eventually when you burn it, you burn the head separately and the body separately. Af malika rosh ba'atzmo v'aguf ba'atzmo. So clearly, you've got to divide. You can't leave 51% of the trachea and esophagus. You can't remove the head that way. You've got to cut through 100% of the trachea and the esophagus. It's got to be completely cut. Then eventually, because the head will be removed from the body and burned separately. That's the first way the Gemara learns. Rabbi Shmuel Omer, no. Kamishpat chatasov. This first part of the Gemara said that when you compare the oilesov, we compare it to a chatas behema. Rabbi Shmuel says, no, we compare it to a chatas ha'oif. Ma chatasov bimul oirev. The malik has to be done from the back of the neck. Af oilesov bimul oirev. Same thing by the oilesov. Imala halan moileg beinu mavdil b'simen echad. When it comes to a chatas, you don't. In fact, it says lo yavdil. There's a lav to cut the second tube. You only have to cut one, either the trachea or the esophagus. In fact, it's a lav to cut the other one. Afkan moilek ve'enu mavdil b'simen echad. Maybe with the bird ola, the same thing. Talmud lomer v'ikrivo. You bring it close, and therefore the bird ola has a different din than the bird chatas. The lav of cutting the second trachea or esophagus only applies to a bird chatas, not to a bird ola. So we've had the Tanakama, we had Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Omer, kamishpat chatas al. So he agrees to Rabbi Shmuel that the comparison is not to a chatas behema, but rather to a chatas ha'of. And the Gemara will continue Malahalan there, so we'll continue that tomorrow in Shul.
Okay.
Everyone have a wonderful Yontif, have a wonderful
Yontif. Anybody wants to hear a very good Divrei Torah tonight, Ernie's giving a shir at
Wow. Okay. Are you bringing chickens? Are you bringing chickens in your fingernail?